there, my name is Drew. I'm a personal trainer and a bodybuilder at this point in my life. It is 2022, it's January. I'm going to go through my transformation story, and I'm going to start with my childhood. I was always a chubby kid. I don't really know what my weight was because I avoided that, as many do. I always struggled with binging. I recall when I was a child, just when I was home alone, I would eat 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 servings of things that were processed, prepackaged. When people would come home, I would hide it. This was the beginning of my binge eating disorder. I'm gonna jump to high school. I was miserable. I didn't like being fat. I decided I would join the cross country team. I trained all summer long. I ran approximately 7 miles a day, 5 or 6 days a week. And at this point, I started to develop the opposite eating disorder. I would just never eat. And people around me noticed that. My partner at the time noticed that. After the season was over, I joined the softball team because I thought I need to do something, and at least I was getting 5 days of exercise in, right? After that, the season's over, right? I don't know what to do with myself, so the weight started to come on. I wasn't so dedicated to exercise. My nutrition was, I'm just going to eat what I can. I think I was a pescatarian for about 10 years. Meaning I didn't eat meat, just dairy and fish, obviously fruits, vegetables, whatever. Diet consisted mainly of processed food. I didn't have a lot of education. I didn't know what I was doing. I got into college, and again, the weight continued to pile on, and I was eating dining hall food, so I didn't have a ton of choices, but I definitely could have made better choices than I did. I was exercising, but not consistently. I didn't know what I was doing. Came home from college, got in a relationship, and as we all do, I gained some relationship weight. Now, I found myself at my highest weight of 220 pounds. This is when I recall myself really sitting down and being like, I'm miserable. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. And above all, this process started with an emotional and mental journey. I was so depressed, and my energy was like zero. I couldn't do anything. I felt incapable. I was not coordinated. I didn't like the fact that I didn't trust my body. Literally, I did not trust my body to do anything. I remember going on a hike and not being able to make it to the top because I was scared. I was standing on the rocks and I was just shaking, head to toe, shaking. I then decided I need some help. So I hired a bodybuilding coach. I had aspirations to get on stage, but I knew I had a long, long road ahead. At this point, I had lost about 20 to 30 pounds already, kind of on my own, just trying to get things in check a little bit, just making better choices with my diet. It was purely just diet, to be honest. And over time, the weight slowly became lower and lower because I was dedicated to my nutrition. And I have to say, the biggest part of this journey was my coach at the time. His name's Darren Starr. His company is called 5 Star Physique. I was training with him, but he was online only. So this was mostly me. He was giving me a lot of guidance, yes, and a lot of education. But this was a case of being honest with myself, being responsible for my nutrition, and being responsible for my activity level, my stress, and at the end of the day, my happiness. Over the year of 2020, I just continued to lose weight. I continued to stay dedicated. And I have to say, this is where the discipline really started to develop, because lots of people will say, I don't have the motivation. And to counter that, I often say, it's not motivation, because that's a fleeting thing. Motivation is kind of like an emotion. It's a fleeting thing that will always pass. Discipline, though, that's something that you dedicate yourself to. That's something that you can always fall back on. So 2020, end of 2020, I started at a size, I think I was a 20, and I ended 2020 at a size 10, 12. And at this point, I was still not satisfied. Of course not. And I wanted to get more serious. I still had the thought of getting on stage in my mind, but I knew I had a long way to go. I had a lot of development to do. 2021 begins, and I find myself very emotionally unstable. I am still working out. I'm still doing my diet. I'm still doing my nutrition thing. I'm kind of at a plateau. Things start to fall apart in my personal life, and I have a very serious suicide attempt. After that point, I was hospitalized for approximately 20 days, and the food there obviously didn't have a choice, and I gained 15 pounds, so there's a gap in the timeline there. When I came back, I decided I would get it together, and I dedicated myself to fitness. I dedicated my life to the world of health, fitness, and hopefully bodybuilding. So I became a personal trainer early 2021, and I wanted to get things really, really dialed in because I thought, as a personal trainer, you have to have a certain image, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I still was at this little bit of a plateau, but I talked to my coach and I was like, I really want to get on stage this year, especially after the suicide attempt. I thought, wow, what a dream it would be to achieve this lifelong goal I've always had. So we began my competition cut, and during this time, I like to call myself like a raw chicken because my physique was like, my legs were like sticks holding up my body, and I looked like a raw chicken. So throughout the year, I think I began to put on a little bit more muscle. I also lost a lot of body fat. Things started to really develop, and I was really liking the way I looked, and this is where I really started to get dedicated, and I got hooked. I was still a trainer. I was loving it. I was living in the gym. I felt like working a lot, working out 3 times a day, approaching burnout quickly. I was doing like I would say almost like a CrossFit-like workout every day. I was lifting 5 or 6 days a week, and I was doing cardio on top of that, doing a lot. And still Darren was there. I worked with him for about 2 years. I started to really love fitness and branch out and push myself, get out of my comfort zone, enjoy things that I never thought that I was even capable of. Near the end of 2021, I finally, here's the juicy part, finally got on stage. And this was a big achievement for me because, like I said, I had a very serious suicide attempt early in the year. I don't think that I was ready to get on stage, but I did it anyway. I competed in a natural competition to start, and I had lost a total of 80 pounds at this point, or it was like 75, 80 pounds. I was a size 8 or so, and I was sitting in the audience, and I told my coach, I love this. I want to do it again. So my cut continued into November. I actually went to Vegas during the cut, and I got on stage again. This time it was not a natural show, and I got absolutely blown out of the water. But still, I was just happy to be there. I thought it was a big win. At this point, I came back from my competition. It was Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'm not happy with how I looked. I found a new coach, and we have been really working hard, and I don't think that this is the end by any means, but in total I have lost approximately 80 pounds, put on a lot of muscle, and I started at a size 20, and I'm now a size 6, and I'm a dedicated personal trainer. Love my job. I love the life that I've built. It took me about 3 or 4 years to get where I am, and like I said, this is all discipline, no motivation. My training style has changed a lot more serious, very dedicated. I'm on a meal plan now. Things are really dialed in, but there was a lot of mental and physical challenges I had to go through along the way. And I'm going to get into things more in detail as time progresses, but I just wanted to give you a little background on me, where I came from, where I started, and where I am today.